What's up everyone, it's Carter with MoneyVest. Welcome on board for our Market Open live stream to wrap up this entire week. Hope you all had a very nice Christmas. Yesterday, of course, the markets were closed. And on Wednesday, the markets closed early. So today is the last day of the week. And next week, we only have 3 more trading days left for 2025. So hope you all are doing great and are ready to get started with this Friday morning, as volatility is also creeping up a little bit. It's up over 4.6%, getting back up to over 14 right now. And of course, we got QQQs pushing higher, S&P pushing higher to a brand new all-time high. Got Nvidia trading back over $190. And we've got a lot of individual stocks, including Tesla, getting up to 485. Meta is just a little bit over 667 right now. So if my audio and video is good, just give me a thumbs up. I just want to make sure that everything is good. There's no technical issues. So just give me a thumbs up if the audio and the video is good for this. And we should be all set and all good to go here. So in terms of the calendar, again, markets are indeed open on the 29th, 30th, and the 31st. 31st, we've got quarterly options expiration. March 31st, June 30th, September 30th, and December 31st as well. But then, of course, Wednesday, you've got markets closed because, well, not Wednesday, Thursday. January 1st, next week, is the market's going to be closed because of New Year's Day. And then Friday, the markets are going to be open, of course. So we got 2 short weeks because of Christmas and, of course, New Year's Day as well. So 4 more trading days left in 2025, including today. And we'll see how the markets trade and how we wrap up the entire year of 2025. So the most important option that I'm watching today is going to be the Meta covered call. So that's going to be the 665 covered call. It's going to fluctuate a lot today. It's going to move a lot today, given that it's going to be expiring on the day here. And so we'll see how it trades and whether I need to roll my option, if I'm going to close my option, or if I'm going to let it expire. Of course, last Friday, I waited until the last few minutes and it worked out in my favor. But I doubt it's going to happen today unless I'm extremely lucky going into this expiration. So we'll find out. I'll send out the alert in the Discord, whatever my plans are. And 4 more days to rally is what Jason says. And again, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Good afternoon from Lisbon. Good morning from New York. I'm trading on the real stock market times now. Usually I have to wait until 2:30 p.m. Then we've got everybody. Kevin, thank you so much for joining. Good morning from Lakeland, Florida. Again, welcome. And we are ready to wrap up the entire week here and the year very soon. So let's do this. How is everybody doing? How was your holiday season? How was a short week here? What did you guys do for Christmas? And we're going to be doing a private live stream very soon, going over the 2025 performance, going over the 2025 lessons, and then 2026 planning. All of that, it's going to be done very soon. Most likely next weekend is what we're going to allocate that time for, where we're going to come in together as a community, plan for 2026, go over 2025, all the mistakes, and then also highlight some of the high conviction stocks for next year. Because this year, as we know, Palantir is one of the best performing stocks. So if you come over to S&P 500 stocks performance, let's just go over to that, and we'll just come over here. Let's take a look at what are the best performing S&P 500 stocks. You got SanDisk, as we know, we've covered that stock on the channel before in a few of our live streams. Then we got Western Digital, we got Micron, Seagate. Robinhood has been one of the biggest winners for this year, 223% in 2025. It was a big part of our shopping list, and it came down to $30, $40 not too long ago, back in April. If you come back and check the shopping list on our MoneyVest website, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll notice Robinhood is right there. And the light buy, 34, 43, and 50. 50 was a light buy, 43 was the heavy buy, and 34, I believe, was a no-brainer buy. Yep, so no-brainer buy was $34. And of course, it was trading down to much, much lower levels back in April. So if you come back, this right here is April dip. It was trading down to $30. It was trading well below our light buy, well below our heavy buy, and also below the no-brainer buy for Robinhood. And since then, it has gone up over 300%. So very strong gains coming in for Robinhood. We got Newmont up 184%, Warner Brother Discovery up 171%, and then you've got Palantir 157%. You got Lam Research, we got AppLovin, Carvana, GE, we got Clark Corporation, all of them up at least 100% in 2025. And then stocks that are losing the most year to date, these are the companies, and not a single one of them is in the shopping list. So Trade Desk, we got Gartner, Lululemon, Dow Chemical, we got FactSet, we got Chipotle in there, that down 37%. We got GoDaddy in there, 36%. Copart's on there, 31%. Target down over 28% on the year. We got Align Technology, 24%. Kimberly-Clark down 22%. A lot of these. And that's exactly what it comes down to, is these are the ones you want to avoid. You want to be on the side of the winning trade for the year to continue to see some very, very strong growth for the year. So I will be updating my shopping list at the end of this earnings season in Q1 of 2026. I will be updating my entire shopping list with some new targets, some new buy targets, as well as some new stocks inclusions. We're going to be removing a few, adding a few, and that's exactly what we do. It's just kind of like a rebalancing, our MoneyVest shopping list rebalancing as well, if you like to call it. Similar to the S&P 500 or the Dow Jones. We also do rebalancing for this as well. So, and it's all going to come from the community, right? Not just myself. I do spend a lot of hours learning and researching about these companies, but at the same time, the ideas, the ideation process, and of course, looking where nobody else is looking. So that is where the community, the networking effect comes in, is because it's not just one mind working on it. It's 1,400, 1,500 minds collectively working on it to pick out the next big winners. And that's the goal for putting the shopping list together, is to pick out the highest and the best quality companies with the most upside potential. That's the idea. That's the goal with the shopping list. So that's going to be the plan going into next weekend. 2026 is getting started. We're going to be, again, like I said, going over the performance for 2025, and then also going over the lessons learned, and then what to look forward to in 2026. So my Christmas was good. I spent the day with family. That's incredible, Kevin. That's exactly how it should be. I got my usual pair of socks, my wife for her usual expensive present, business as usual. That's great. And I also did my shopping for all my family. So I went to the mall, obviously, and picked out a lot of holiday sets and gift baskets that I'm going to be giving to my family when I go back. There's a lot of people there. Uncle, aunt, cousins, of course, my parents. So, all of them are going to be in for a bit of a surprise. They don't know that I'm bringing all this stuff. I did want to get some recommendations, but again, I thought it's not the best place to ask. But I want to get my uncle and my dad a very, very good bottle of whiskey, like a single malt whiskey. So I wanted to get some recommendations from some of the more experienced, seasoned people that are whiskey lovers. But I did a lot of research. I spent quite a few hours researching for a pretty good bottle that you can't necessarily find in India. It's something that is a bit more unique and rare. So that is still left. So I'm going to be doing a bit of a shopping at the duty free in Dubai airport. But yeah, other things I've already got them wrapped and everything is good. But that, if you have any recommendations, please let me know. I just don't want anything too generic. I want something a little bit more, unique, more rare. So I started looking into it, and I was looking into like Bunahaben. I don't know if you've heard, it's from Scotland. Bunahaben 12, Bunahaben 18. Those seem to be pretty good reviews. And my budget was somewhere between $200 and $300 for a nice bottle. So still doing my research. Still got until Sunday to figure that out. So anyway, coming back to the markets, let's take a look. Good morning. Looking at selling 21 days till expiration, CSPs on CLS, STX, IREN, and SoFi. What are your recommendations on the strike prices? So that's a lot of companies there. SoFi, I would be looking at $24, $25 as a potential strike. That's going to be aligned with this green area of support, this area of demand for SoFi. If you come back to IREN, we've got a support level sitting roughly at $33, $34. So you got a lower high, lower low pattern. Support level is going to stay put at 39 down to $33, $34. But 33, 34 is going to be a nice little nice strike, but you could also consider 39 to $40. This really depends where you're comfortable owning these companies, owning that stock based on the research that you've done. IREN and SoFi, as you know, I already own. I like those two companies. STX, I don't have, but this right here is the overall uptrend for STX. It's been a very nice uptrend of higher highs and higher lows. And if I were to put down a decent support, it would be sitting roughly at around 247, 248 for STX. So that's going to be that level. And then finally, CLS is going to have a support very close to 262 as a pretty decent strike to consider. So that's going to be a level to watch. Merry Christmas to you too. MoneyVest ETF, I'm in. Yes, so I think that would be great, right? So far, the shopping list stocks have done really well. We launched the shopping list like 3 years ago, 2023, 2024, and now 2025. We've had a lot of winners from those. So very excited for the 2026 list. Again, we're going to be spending a lot of time, a lot of hours putting together the next set of best names. We're going to be removing a few, adding a few, and then we'll go from there. So Indri, India-based whiskey. So again, I just want something that is not going to be found very easily in India. That's the whole point of me getting something from Dubai or elsewhere, right? Because I don't want something that's just you can pick off the shelf in India. It has to be a bit more unique and more rare. And I think that's why it makes most sense. Check out Mansha or Indri for your dad. He will enjoy them and their origin. Perfect. I'll definitely check that out. But I was more so hoping for something that is not readily available, in India. And yeah, I would go for Macallan. I did a lot of research on that as well. I learned that Macallan seems to be a bit more of a overrated whiskey. I know it's used very much, in movies and among celebrities. Like it's like a very top tier whiskey, but I learned that you're not getting the most value for your money. So like the biggest bang for your buck, as it seems to be a bit more hyped and overrated. So really I'm looking for some very underrated heavy hitters, like things that are not like at the limelight, but are just spectacular in terms of taste, the notes and overall value. So yeah, that's why it gets a little bit more of a deeper dive into it, right? So similar to stocks, if we're looking for undervalued opportunities, that's really what I want to get. It's like I want to get something high quality and undervalued, so to speak. So, but thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate the recommendations. I'll definitely look into that for sure. Thank you so much. Perfect. I'll do that. But the only thing is that in Dubai, it's actually there's no whiskey boutique or anything. There's like one specific chain that has all the liquor that they sell, and so it becomes a bit more, whatever's in their inventory and collection. So I'll have to go to the duty free in Dubai and then look at it over there. Okay, so coming back to stocks, okay? I was just talking about Christmas shopping, so that's why I wanted to share that, but let's come back to some individual stocks here. So can you look at Oscar, please? Support now at 1470. Okay, so let's take a quick look at Oscar. Looks like we've got a support, I would say at 1340, 1350 levels. So this right here is going to be that area of support to watch for Oscar, and resistance all the way up to $23, $24. So on a weekly time frame, you can kind of see how Oscar's trading. This is really the range within which it's been trading for a really long time. Excuse me. So this right here is a lot of consolidation sideways is what we're seeing, right? Triple, quadruple resistance there. getting rejected, and that support level is sitting roughly at $12.70 to $13 for Oscar. So that's going to be that level. Is silver still a play with SLV? Tickets still upside left, or your thoughts on silver going from here? I've been buying for 2 months now. Should I consider DCA on the way up? So look, it really depends on your time horizon, right? I mean, it's now sitting at $74 a barrel. Absolutely insane. So the thing is that it's extremely overbought, right? I mean, we're looking at 84 RSI. The last time it was at these levels was back in October. And then we saw a bit of a pullback of 16%, 20% before starting off on this next big wave of momentum. So it really depends on your time horizon. If you've been buying for the last couple months, that's great. You're probably up, quite a bit on silver, because just this month, silver is up 40% plus, 50% since November 20th. So in the last 30 days, silver has gone up like insane. But if your time horizon is, let's say, short term, like a few weeks to a few months, I would certainly not be looking at this as a long trade, because it's extremely stretched and overbought right now. But if your time horizon is, okay, I want to accumulate more silver, I want to DCA into it for anything that's more than 2 years, 3 years, 5 years out or more, then I believe that silver has more upside. I think it's going to be, closer to $100 an ounce long term, possibly even higher. And we know that gold prices have been rallying higher as well. And then gold has also gotten a lot of upgrades recently, right? So Yardenia Research putting a $6,000 target for next year, $10,000 by the end of this year. That's more than double from where we are right now. And so some of my highest conviction bets in commodities are gold and silver, right? I mean, that's where I'm also putting my money. And then, of course, you got real estate. And then when it comes to stocks, as I mentioned, semiconductors, chips, cybersecurity, data centers, AI, technology, you've got quantum computing, nuclear energy. All of those are the ones where I believe is going to have the most upside potential over the next 4 to 5 years. So that's where I'm looking into it. Okay, let's see. Can we get a poll for ending the week, green or red? Sure. Let's take a look at where we are right now, though, for S&P 500. I mean, we are pretty green, so I doubt that the markets are going to close down today to close the entire week. That's up 1.4% to red, but maybe we can do for next week. We can do a poll for next week that we can get that going. Whether the markets are going to be higher or lower. So, yeah, thank you so much for those recommendations, you guys. I really appreciate it. Maker's Mark, I looked at their whiskeys as well. Absolutely incredible. The overall red wax at the top. Every top is very unique. So, again, it's all very interesting stuff, very fascinating stuff. Could you look at NEO, QS, and HIMS? Let's take a look here. NEO has been selling off aggressively, and I'm starting to realize why NEO is not doing well, is because I went to their showroom here, in Dubai, and as I'm shopping for cars, NEO was also one of them, one of the contenders. The only issue I had was, of course, the pricing and the models. You're coming from China, you'd expect significant value for money. The money that you're paying, the price of the car and the value that you're getting should be significantly better than compared to, let's say, for example, German cars or European cars or American cars, right? So I've been studying a lot over the last few months here as in the market for a car. And NEO, coming from China, sits very differently than other Chinese auto manufacturers. I looked at, a lot of them. I looked at BYD, I looked at Geely, I looked at what's it called? The GWM. I looked at G-Tour. I looked at a lot of different brands, and all of them provided so much better value for money, like the tech, the features, everything that you're getting versus the price you're paying. And NEO sits in its own class. And of course, it's catering to a little bit more of the luxury market. But then I was comparing NEO to Exceed, and they're also very similar in terms of the features and the luxury and everything. But NEO, again, from a price point perspective and just the overall optionality, was significantly far apart. Had NEO kind of positioned itself a little bit differently and also focused on just a few handful of really strong models, I think I believe it might have done a little bit better, because there's definitely demand for electric vehicles, right? There's definitely demand for significant amount of car ownership for EVs, whereas BYD is outselling almost all of them, and NIO is just struggling right now. So fundamentally, as I mentioned before, one of the big reasons for me kind of getting out of NIO, last year was that the lack of focus is there. I mean, the management is not able to figure out how to become profitable, and that's one of the biggest reasons where I was like, I've waited 8 quarters, 12 quarters, and the company's not able to turn things around. I mean, they just keep launching new and new models, but they're not turning a profit. And so as a result, I was just like, I need to bite the bullet here and then look for opportunity elsewhere. So for NIO, support level is going to stay up at 366. I mean, it continues to sell off, gives investors a little bit of hope, 788, 790, and then selling right back down. So, okay, could you look at, NIO we covered, QuantumScape and HIMS. Let's take a quick look at those companies as well. I would put QuantumScape support at around 741, and then another support down here around 1060. Pulling back a little bit after becoming really overbought, and right now it is making a bit of a descending triangle as well. So if it does break down below this, next support is going to be all the way down to 740 for QuantumScape. And then finally looking at HIMS. HIMS has also been struggling this year. Year to date, the stock is actually up 40%, but it's been more so struggling in the last few months. Last 3 months, it's down over 36%. So once again, trading down to that support at $33, $34, and resistance all the way up to $40 for HIMS is where we are. Gold seems overbought too. Where will institutional investors park their cash now, considering bonds are low value due to rate cuts and rotating from gold to equities coming? I think equities have also been seeing a lot of momentum. I mean, S&P is sitting at an all-time high, so commodities and equities have been the 2 best performing sectors for the year. If you come over to performance metrics here, I've got everything right there. In this watch list, you can pretty much see everything. So the best performing asset class, commodities, take the crown. Second best performing asset class, equities, and more so Magnificent Seven. And of course, a lot of these individual stocks, as we mentioned earlier, SanDisk, the biggest winner for the year in S&P 500. And then the third is going to be, bonds. I mean, bonds are flat, right? So bonds are flat. TLT is up 26 basis points. And then crypto is struggling, down 4%, 10%. So, I would definitely characterize this year as another very strong pro-growth, pro-equities, pro-commodities year. Crypto definitely struggled. It was up on the year up until like October, and then things really shifted. And I do believe that equities themselves did not really experience much of a rotation. So what really happened in my perspective is that equities really had that rotation within that asset class, meaning we were moving from tech to value, value back to tech, and there was rotation happening within the equities asset class. But what was a cross-asset rotation was from crypto to commodities. I think that's really what we did experience from a cross-asset rotation, was away from crypto over to commodities like gold and silver, because you kind of measure the peak for Bitcoin, which was literally back in October, $125,000, and it dropped 30%. And then you look at something like gold, which again was literally on October 27, October 28th, was at its low point right here. It was actually down from its all-time highs, a little bit over 10.5, almost 11%. And since then, we have just seen the exact opposite. I mean, this is like an inverse correlation. Like it's a mirror of each other, where gold prices jumped 16% and Bitcoin tanked 13%. And same thing happened with silver as well. As you can see, a lot of liquidity flooding. Literally, this is October 27, 28 right here. This is all October, where silver prices dropped over 15, 16%. And since then, they're up over 63%, whereas Bitcoin, Ether down 20 to 30%. So within equities, I think there was more of that specific sector rotation, tech, AI over to value, defensive, utilities, and then back to tech and growth. But there was a cross-asset rotation between crypto and commodities this year. I think that's really what we witnessed. And then, of course, fixed income didn't really do much, basically flat, as there was a lot of rate cuts this year. So, okay, let's take a few more names, a few more looks at companies here. UiPath, let's go over that one. Or is it Ubiquiti? Ubiquiti or UiPath? Okay, so UI is not the ticker symbol, PATH. By the way, Ubiquiti is actually part of the shopping list as well. It's actually part of the shopping list for us. Ubiquiti, very, very good company, by the way. Definitely do more research on it. Okay, so resistance for Path is going to stay put roughly at around $18 to $19. Support level 1581. Pushed higher, of course, from its lows here at around $12. Rallied all the way up to $19, $20, 60% move, became very overbought, started to roll right back down, validating that support at $15, $16, starting to move back higher. Resistance is going to stay put at $18 to $19 per share. Revenues are growing, profitability still struggling a bit, and 37 times earnings, a little bit over 5 times sales. So not terrible, but definitely can get better in terms of valuations. So okay, so UiPath is done. Good morning. Can we take a look at QBTS? I'm thinking selling puts at $26. What do you think? Okay, so D-Wave Quantum Computing here, $26 is going to be very close to the money. So as long as you're comfortable, with the ownership of those stocks. So one of the things that I always mention when you're selling CSPs is that you need to be comfortable and you need to be excited owning the shares of that stock at that strike price. So, if you're selling a put on QBTS at $26, you should feel very excited if and when QBTS trades down to $26, $25, $24, $23. You're like, great, now I can buy the stock I like. I wanted to build a position in this long term, and I'm getting the price that I really, really want. If those are the criteria that are not met, I would look for other stocks, or I would look for lower strikes. Because if you're simply selling puts for the premiums, if you're trying to chase premiums because it looks good, then believe me, there's going to be times in your options trading journey where you're going to regret selling that put. So always going with that mindset, even if the idea is just to trade, even if the idea is, look, I don't want to own this long term, but you should be okay with the idea of owning it long term. There's a huge psychological nuance there, because if you're not, then you're selling a put on something that you don't like or don't want to own. Versus if you want comfort, peace of mind, no regrets later, pick a stock that you feel very confident in, you'd be excited to own long term if worst case scenario happens, and then you can go very close to the money, you can go higher deltas and start to maximize premiums. But very important when selling puts. So $26.75, you got a 28 delta, so a little bit under 30. Which again is 1 week out. So you did not mention the expiration there, Mario, but I'm going to assume, let's say 1 week out, $26, slightly higher delta. Be okay with owning the shares if it comes down to it. $24 is another strike that you could look into if you can extend the expiration, maybe like a few weeks, go out to January 23rd. That's going to be almost 1 month. And then $23, $24, almost the same premium as 26, and also slightly lower delta for a better support level to watch for as well. So that is one to consider. Nike, we can take a look at. What of aluminum? Let's take a look at Nike first. Now, Nike, I think, might have signed a deal with Ronaldo. Like, I'm not sure exactly if that's 100% accurate, because I did see it, that they are going to be branding with Ronaldo's iconic C celebration, very similar to the Jordans. And if that actually happens, I think that can turn things around for Nike. I think that could be like an insane selling piece globally for the brand. If that is indeed correct, if that is indeed true. I still have to double check on the news there. But that could be massive for the brand. But yeah, overall, I think support level, that's exactly where it's at, $58, $59. We've got a resistance all the way up to $62, $63. That's going to be a level to watch. And if you do get a breakout, next target all the way up to $69, to $70 for Nike. So that's going to be that next resistance to watch there. So aluminum also has done very well this year. If you come over aluminum USD, 29.46. I mean, it's been ripping higher since April. It's up 29%. Of course, nowhere near close to gold or silver, but it's been very consistent and it's doing well. MP support level, please, and thank you. So let's take a look at MP Materials. We got a support level inside this green rectangle, this nice area of demand, $51.50, $52. By the way, you guys, you can actually check out the links for the TradingView, right? So we have TradingView links that you can pretty much access. So I'll show you guys exactly what that means. So if you come over to our Discord, if you're a part of our Discord, over here you see TradingView charts, right? So if you click on it, these are the links that you can pretty much copy. This will give you access to my technical analysis without even doing anything. So if you open, let's say, any incognito, I'm just going to do that because I'm signed in on other TradingView, you paste that link and it's going to, boom, open up the chart right here. So if you're asking me for UiPath, it's going to have my technical analysis right there. If you click on Tesla, it's going to have my technical analysis right there. You don't have to do anything. It's like literally all there. It's automatically synced. It's going to update automatically. And so you can pretty much go over to any stock you want. Apple is on there. Netflix is on there. And you can essentially, copy this chart to your TradingView and boom, all my technical analysis in front of you for the chart for any stock that you want, right? Given that I've actually analyzed that stock on my TradingView, once I save it, it's going to show up on yours as well. So that is already available for all the members. Okay. So you can definitely access it. But yeah, MP Materials support level is going to step at a $50, $51 resistance all the way up to $61 to $62 for MP Materials. Jack, good morning. Good morning. Thanks for joining. Any thoughts on Zscaler? Zscaler is part of the shopping list. I really like Zscaler as a long-term cybersecurity play. Very similar to CrowdStrike, Fortinet. All of these are part of the cybersecurity watch list. Coming down to some very aggressively oversold levels here and this higher low. So I would be looking at selling CSPs on Zscaler here. And we've got a support level I would mark out right there. It's going to be 218, 220. And then another support level that's going to be sitting all the way down here around 174, 175 for Zscaler. So those are the two support levels I'd watch for Zscaler. Can you look into Broadcom? Yes, so Broadcom, we have done plenty of analysis in the past. I really like Broadcom here. I'm in fact thinking about picking up shares at these prices. It's been pushing up from its lows of 310, 312. So I could see myself starting a position in Broadcom here and then eventually selling calls against my shares. So resistance is going to step at a 373, 374, and a very strong support inside this green rectangle for Broadcom. So a lot of consolidation sideways. And again, Broadcom is one of the higher conviction names at the moment for me. Okay, APLD, ASTS, AVVTY. I'm gonna just answer a few questions here very quickly. So, sell put for premium is fine if you have safety of margin for or use some strategies such as calendar spreads. Yes, it's fine. But like I said, if you are selling options and you're not comfortable with the decision that is either buying shares or selling shares, then I think you may want to rethink your strategy, because in your options trading journey, there's going to be a time when you're going to be obligated to either buy or sell the shares. And if you're not okay with that, then that's where a lot of chaos happens. So, okay, aside from selling puts from key levels, what's your thoughts on selling weeklies based on bullish FEG on the 4-hour or 1-day time frame? What is FEG? Based on bullish on the 4-hour or 1-day time frame. I mean, you could do that. But like I said, I mean, when you're selling options, the most important psychological nuance is that you should be looking at fair value gap. Okay, so you should be looking at ideally owning that stock, because at the end of the day, like if you're selling a put, and even if the goal isn't to hold it long term, It's just what we teach in psychology, right? It's that you want to sell a put on a stock you want to own. You don't want to be chasing premiums. You don't want to be maximizing for premiums. The premiums will come. The returns will come. Just focus on picking the right names. It's about high quality companies. And so as long as you're doing that, whether you're using technical analysis to identify it or fundamentals or a mix of both, then it makes sense, depending on whatever strategy you end up using. Yes, we already covered silver earlier, so definitely check that out if you want to. Fun fact, TradingView today awarded IBKR Best Multi-Asset Broker for 2025. That's incredible. I think IBKR definitely deserves it. The amount of IBKR is actually part of the shopping list as well. So that's amazing. So IBKR is right there, Interactive Brokers. We've had that on the shopping list for, I think, more than a year now. Of course, the valuations or the prices are a little bit lower, but not too far off from where IBKR is trading at the moment. So IBKR right now, $65, $66. It's been very, very strong since April, up over 101% back in April, $34, $35. And if you come back, light buy was 49, so 30, 35, well below the light buy. 44 was the heavy buy, and $30 literally was the no-brainer buy, which it was trading down to $32, right on the T, and then pushing up. So yeah, IBKR on the shopping list as well. Okay, so coming over to APLD, ASTS. I feel like ASTS we've covered yesterday. Resistance, it's going to be more of a momentum play only for me because, again, no revenues, massive losses for the company. And so resistance is going to be $98, $99. We've got a support that's going to be staying put right about here, $57 to $62 for AST space. APLD, let's take a look. Applied Digital. So seems to be making a bit of a lower high and higher low pattern. So there is some symmetrical triangle there. Resistance is going to stay put roughly around $29, $30 and a very strong support at $20 to $21. So again, a little bit of a symmetrical triangle. As it continues to coil inside this symmetry, then that's when we can expect a bigger move for APLD. So VIX elevated. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call this elevated. It's just, I know for a fact that it's going to be spiking anytime now, maybe this week, next week, or in January, which is exactly why I'm prepared. I'm not overexposing myself at the moment, keeping a little bit of cash aside. And that's really what the plan is to wait for volatility to give us a signal, the Money West Index to give us a signal for when we want to deploy capital. It's honestly very simple. It's not that complicated. That really 2025 was a year of doing a lot less. I've done significantly less than my prior years, and in terms of percentages and dollar amounts, I've made the most money this year compared to previous years. And the overall strategy. So the good things about 2025 was that we were a lot more precise in our execution than ever before. We knew exactly when to be deploying capital. And it's a plus if you know also where to deploy capital. So the most important questions are where and when, right? That's what we have to figure out in any given year, where to put money and when to put it. So if you can answer those questions with high certainty, high level of probability, because look, nobody's going to have the exact answer, but our job is to figure out where and when to put capital with a high level of certainty, high probability, right? High success rate. And that's really what we have kind of dedicated our lives to doing. We, as in our community, has dedicated our lives to figuring out is what are the best opportunities and when are the best times in terms of that risk reward ratio signaling for us to be buying. And I think that's really what my hope would be for everyone is to be a bit more precise. And you think of yourself as like sniping for opportunities. You're not out there just like blazing with the guns. You're just like sniping, right? You're sniping meaning you know exactly when the markets come calling to us with those discounts and those deals. And that is, you can literally back test it. You can look at all the charts as you want. You can all look at all the data, and it'll all lead back to just a few high quality signals. Everything else is noise. Everything else ends up being noise. So yeah, no VIX hedge for New Year's. Not really, no. I mean, for us, we only hedge with selling calls. Like, for example, if you come over to the portfolio, I've got NVIDIA, calls. I've got a lot of calls on, SoFi and Tesla and some of the other positions. And those are great for sort of hedging because they allow me to generate some nice profit while I wait for the markets to recover, or if we do tank, they actually print and they lower my cost basis. They allow me to generate some good premiums. So I've never really taken any long, short positions, if that makes sense. Never really gone long VIX, or I've never really gone long inverse ETF. Because of probabilities, because of statistics. That's really what it comes down to. So I would much rather sell calls as a short position on my existing positions rather than go long on a short position. So yeah, right. And I appreciate that. True capital allocation. Perfect. That's exactly what we're here to do. Maximize opportunity, minimize risk, minimize volatility, because that is what's going to stick long term. It's not going crazy, generating the most amount of alpha in an absolute terms, but superior investing, as I've mentioned time and time again, is risk-adjusted performance. You want to create as little volatility as possible, create as little risk as possible for the most amount of upside. So, all right, everyone, market's about to open in a couple more minutes to wrap up the entire week. And what do you guys think? Meta 665, higher or lower? What do you guys think? Is Meta going to be over 665 or below 665 today by close? I'm $3 in the money right now. $3 in the money. I might still be profitable on that trade because the break even for the buyer is going to be closer to 669 because of the premium received. But let's see. It's a roll of a dice. Once again, coming in towards the last day and the last minute of the day again. You gonna roll? I think I'm gonna wait until the last few minutes again. I think I'm just gonna I'm gonna see how it trades, over the course of the day. So if it gives me any hints of any weakness, if it starts to pull back, if I see multiple red candles on the 5 minute, I'm gonna let it expire, and then just roll the dice. I'm just gonna let it be and see how it goes. Jack, thank you so much for being a part of the community. We're so grateful to have you. Thanks for a great year of learning and earning. That's amazing. I really appreciate all of you guys. And we're going to be doing a private live stream next weekend to wrap up the year and plan our objectives and goals for next year. All right, everyone, markets are open. NVIDIA is sitting at just over 190 right now. QQQs and S&P 500 also moving. Meta needs to drop at least $3 to $4 a share right now in order for it to give me some breathing room. But we'll see how it trades throughout the day. Tesla 487, a little bit shy of 490 right now. We got Apple, Google, AMD, all green with the open. Bitcoin sitting just under 89,000. And volatility here sitting just over 14 right now. So, but I want to see more meta predictions. What are you guys thinking for Meta? 665. Are you going to see it close below that level or above it? How is my Meta call doing, by the way? That's what I really want to know. Okay, so it's actually up $100 right now. It's up $100. I can close it for profit if I don't want to risk it. But then what do you guys think? Should I risk it for the biscuit or should I just let it go? It's up $121 right now. So I can free up my shares and come out ahead, take a profit of 120. I've already taken a profit of 300 earlier in the week on those Meta calls. Earlier, literally in 2 hours, we collected 44%. On a week basis, it would still be pretty decent. But what's the point of living if you don't risk it a little bit? Let it ride, just roll over. I don't know. Meta's definitely giving me those sell-off vibes again. I feel like it's going to work out. Maybe, I don't know. So, but it's crazy how close I've come every single week. Every single week. Usually it's like, okay, I'm gonna close out of the money or I'm gonna close in the money. I know it. By Wednesday, by Tuesday, I kind of have an idea. But last 2 weeks, I've been uncertain. Like, I don't know if it's going to close out of the money or in the money. Of course, last week was the craziest trade. Last 3 minutes. Mac D, you look like you're gambling. Not really. I mean, if it trades in the money, that's fine. I'll sell my shares. I'll collect $2,000 in premium over the last 3 weeks that I've been wheeling Meta. And if it closes out of the money, that's even better. I get to keep my shares and I get to collect all that premium, and then I can sell another call on Monday. So it's not gambling if you know what you're doing, right? So we're getting 1% if you're rolling over. It's up $136 right now. My cost is $444. At 50%, I might actually close it. So at over $200, I might close it. I might take profit at $200. I already did collect $200 earlier in the week, so I don't mind, taking that profit and then selling a new call. I just need Meta to be a little bit lower. Or am I getting a little too greedy here? 170. I'm up 40% on these calls right now. 40%. You know what? 40% I'm already up. Why risk it? But it's going to be fluctuating a lot. It is moving very, very fast. So I'm just going to put a buy to close order at 270 and see if it actually gets filled. I doubt it's going to get filled anytime soon because Meta would need to drop quite a bit. So let's see. 665. I'm going to come over to the 1 minute chart here. 270. I put a buy to limit order at 270. $2.70. Okay. So the moment this number gets to 270, well, it's going to be more like 270. I'm giving back. So 444 minus 270. So 174. I need to update that a little bit. It doesn't look like it's going to get filled. Meta's moving back up. We'll see. Let's see. It helps with this back and forth. I know someone who taught me really good psychology of investing course. Oh, God. Let's go, Meta. Tank. Just give me a 5-minute tank, and then you can rally. Then you can rip back up as much as you want. But anyway, thank you so much, you guys, for joining in. Really appreciate you all. I'm going to send out the alerts on Discord if any of them go through. So again, very, very happy holidays. Merry Christmas to all of you guys. Thank you so much for being a part of the community. I really appreciate you all. Again, 40% annual discount available until the end of this month if you want to take advantage of that. So link's going to be down there. So as always, happy investing. I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.